Welcome to Mná Feasa, a podcast series featuring stories from older women in County Kilkenny. Produced by me, Helena Byrne, in collaboration with Kilkenny County Council Library Services and Kilkenny Heritage. There's nothing like a bit of retail therapy. Now, while that therapy might take the form of online shopping these days, in the past, that therapy was found by visiting your local shop. Not just for their produce, but for the chit-chat, catching up on the local happenings and news. In episode 4, older women of Kilkenny share their memories of their local shops and their insight into how the way we shop and what we shop for has come to evolve.
I was born and raised in Freshford, which is about 10 miles. I know it's kilometres, but I use miles. I had only one sister, and we lived in the village. And Freshford at that time, it was a very vibrant place. There was great industry in it, and there was 2 sawmills, the Wellbrook Press, which did printing for every companies and businesses. There was the college, St. Joseph's Missionary College, and that was a boarding school as well. A lot of shops in the village. There's only the big supermarket kind of place now and petrol station. I'm not sure if I go out there now and again to go to my parents' grave. Walls or McGrath's might have a bit of a grocery, but all the other shops are gone, which was a terrible tragedy. Now, Mars had one sawmill and Stanton's had the other, and they employed a lot of the local people there. Likewise, the Wellbrook Press and the college had employed people as well. Now, they had nuns in the college, and they had a priest, of course, teaching, and they would have lay people, maybe doing a bit of work around, when it was needed in the grounds. They had acres of land.
Cassan's was the pharmacy.
Yeah.
And were there any other local shops that wouldn't be here now? Would you have had a local butcher and...
Oh, the butcher is gone a long time from here. Parsons.
Parsons, okay. And that was your local butcher?
There were 2 Parsons.
2...
One of them used to do, I think he used to only sell lamb.
Yeah, because his brother done beef and he didn't want to be in competition with his brother.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
2 were on the one street. Well, on the main street below, yeah.
Okay. Tried not to tread on each other's market. Okay. They had a grocer or anything of that nature?
Sure, Murphy's would have been, there were grocery at one side and then they had hardware.
Yeah.
And then they done a lot of
Murphy's,
farm, food for farm, the animals and stuff way up the back.
Yeah.
That was a kind of a big shop, wasn't it? That was the biggest shop in the town.
It was Murphy's.
Would there have been less pubs or more pubs back?
Oh, there were more. There were more long
A lot
ago,
of them closed down now.
Yeah.
Right.
I think there were 13 in Graig one time.
Yeah, there was a good few,
Yeah.
And what would have been the place to go now on a Saturday for a little tipple?
Well, women didn't go then.
Okay.
Women didn't go to drink. Sure they didn't.
Not that much, no. If they did, they were in a snug.
In the snug.
Yeah.
And would any of the pubs here have had a snug or still have a snug?
Oh God, they have.
Yeah,
They have.
Yeah. Would your husbands then have?
My husband was a pioneer when I married him.
Okay.
Yeah.
What happened after?
Before that he was a divil for drink.
Oh.
He was a divil for drink. You see, he was on the boats and you could drink on the boats because you'd be bringing the drink and they used to drink on it. But he didn't go out when we were married at all.
Okay,
No.
right.
We might go to an odd dance in the hall. I didn't go to the pictures for 50 years.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
And there was a cinema.
Yeah, there
here in
was.
Grain, wasn't there?
Yeah.
I never knew where Kilkenny was. I mean, our town was Castlecomer or Ballyragget, but definitely Comer, obviously. And that was still 3 miles away. Our nearest shop was much nearer. It was between me and the school. It was a mile away. And Mrs. Brophy's shop. And Mrs. Brophy had all the biscuits and the sweets and the jars and all the stuff. And I have a weighing scales that's exactly the shop scales that Mrs. Brophy, not hers, but another one, an Avery. Oh, the white enamel scales. I have that on my kitchen's worktop right now. And I can still see the ready reckoners in the back of it and all the calculated things. How easy it was to calculate because it was all written on the back of the scales.
Did you have a travelling shop?
No. Mrs. Brophy wouldn't allow a travelling shop.
Yeah.
There was no travelling. None of that.
Did you get much from the shop, or was it nearly a self-sufficient farm then?
Oh, it was pretty much self-sufficient. Tea and sugar, and if there was a panic on or some visitors came unexpected, you'd be sent diagonally across the fields. If you're going around the road, you had to go down and up. So we go across the fields to the shop, maybe for a sweet cake, Jacob's cake or something, you know.
We always had a roast on a Sunday, always, and always went to the same butcher.
Okay.
And I can remember on a Saturday morning you'd get a note, go down to Joe Welch's was. It was where Langton's is now, but you went down and you had to queue for the meat. And then on a Monday you had sort of the leftovers. You had it reheated or...
Into a sandwich or something, was it?
Oh no, it was a proper dinner. You never had a sandwich.
Okay.
And in the evening then, with the tea, the men always had a fry. The men always had a fry for their tea. They'd have maybe rasher and sausage and egg. And my father always had tripe on a Saturday.
Tripe?
Tripe and onions, yes.
I always thought that was just a Scottish thing.
No, oh gosh, no.
She used to have it on the stove there. Oh God.
Yeah, Ben used to like the tripe. I ate tripe now myself. But
Yeah?
none of the others would eat it.
Okay.
Tripe and onions.
What? With a bit of gravy or anything?
No,
or?
white sauce. They did it in sort of a double saucepan. There'd be a saucepan with water and there'd be another one that went down into it. And that would be on the fire. It would be go on in the morning, on a Saturday morning, and it would stew on the side of the range all day. I don't know whether it had to or not, but anyway it did. And it would be thickened then with a bit of flour coming near the time they'd be coming home.
And just with regard to Joe Walsh was the name of the butcher, is it?
Yeah.
And would you have had would the family have had a tab or anything like that?
Oh God,
with them,
not at
or-
all.
No, you pay
no.
up front and...
Well, now it depended. If you, like, we wouldn't have handled money. We wouldn't be given money in case we'd lose it. But it would be paid for maybe the next day or that. But there wouldn't,
Right, yeah.
you know.
Okay. So everything was...
Yeah.
You pay up front
Oh,
sort of thing.
absolutely,
There,
yeah.
Would have groceries changed an awful lot?
Oh, of course.
They would,
have,
Yeah.
So there's years ago it should be only brown bread. It should be only... You rarely get the sliced pans, sure you wouldn't. There wasn't a big...
No, they round early, weren't they? Slice pan one day.
No, they weren't.
Most
we
of
were
the
young,
people
no.
made their own bread,
yeah.
brown bread,
Okay.
cartwheels, you know, like that.
And biscuits were out of a tin.
A big
rather
tin,
than
Yeah,
a
biscuits,
half
yeah. They
tin.
wouldn't be in packages.
Oh,
They'd be in a big
sweets
tin.
the
yeah.
same.
They used
Yeah.
to, you'd be able to go in, there'd be a stand and there'd be a whole lot of tins and you could get a quarter of this or sixpence worth of this biscuit and sixpence worth of that. Do you remember
That's
that?
right, yeah. They'd weigh the biscuits then.
Yeah,
Like. They
yeah.
weren't in packages like they were in big tin.
Yeah.
They were in a
the
big
biscuits,
tin.
yeah.
That's lovely.
It was
that's
bigger
what
than-
people pay more for that nowadays.
Yeah, they paid for the package, I
There'd
suppose.
be a glass top on the biscuits, but they were twice the size as the half tins, you know, you get them at Christmas.
There were about 4 or 5 bakers on High Street all along. wasn't there?
Malloy's and all the
Crotties
crotties, sure, they're all gone.
And, you know,
Mulhall's
they're all,
in
they're all
Green
gone
Street,
now, aren't
yeah,
they?
they're
Except
all
I think,
gone. There are none of them around now.
You know, during the war then, petrol obviously, as we said, was
Oh, yeah.
short, few and far between. Would you have found the same with food and that sort of thing? Would you
Oh,
be...
yeah.
Yeah?
You had I can remember ration books. You'd have to go
Okay.
down and you'd have so many coupons for different things, even biscuits.
Okay. So it was sort of like every household...
Would have had coupon books, and it depended, I think, on how many were in the house and
Okay.
that. You'd be allowed so many
Yeah.
coupons, like, and so much tea. And I remember there was I don't know, my father had a relation in Canada, and sometimes he'd send tea in a sort of a tin box, and he'd have it in like calico or something like that in the box. And my grandmother would take out that calico, wash it, and make a pillowcase out of it.
Oh, right.
Do you know, everything was reused and recycled.
Yeah. It's so different now that, everything
throw
comes
away.
in plastic and it's thrown away and everything's...
I used to shop with a telephone call once a week to Crennan's here in Thomastown. Do you remember Crennan's? You rang Crennan's at, we'll say, 9:30 on a Friday morning with your list. Yeah. And you gave them the list. And I always remember the one thing that was always on it. Fish was very hard to get in Inistioge at the time. Finny haddock. Jack Crennan used to refer to it. It was dyed fish, the orangey fish. I used to make fish pie out of it. And that was always that, and cheese, I can remember. And, then you had your list of butter and sugar and all that kind of thing. Now, we had a very good co-op in the village for the kind of lot of stuff. But there were certain things that you rang Jack Crennan for, and he delivered it free of charge every Friday.
You've lived in and around Kilkenny, we'll say for so many years. Is there anything in particular that comes to mind that you feel so different nowadays?
But everything is different in Kilkenny. All the shops have changed. If you take Irish Town now, where you go up from Lowry's, where there's a church, then when you go over a little bridge there were there were 4 different businesses there. The first one was Mickey Keefe's, had a sweet shop. Next you had Eleni's, was a tailor. Next you had Miss
Farrell, wasn't it?
What was her name?
Was it Miss Farrell?
I don't know, no, I think it was something else. But she had a bookshop, sold magazines and comics and all that. And I used to get School Friend and the Girls' Crystal every week there. Martin O'Keefe's was a harnesser. He used to make all the bridles and the stuff for the horses. And then you turned down towards the Mayfair, where you had different places down along there. And the next yard from that then was Brennan's Butchers. They used to slaughter the cows and the sheep there.
Okay,
and
so it was all in-house.
And we used to go in there, but he'd put us out. We were only small, at the time, and he'd put us out when he'd shoot the animal, and then we watch him skinning the cows and the sheep and taking them all apart and taking out the guts out of them. And then there was a yard in behind that, and you see right in front of you have St. Francis Abbey.
Yeah.
That's there now, which has all changed around there. And my father had a kind of an engineering business on the right when you turned around there. And there used to be a big wall at the brewery. And I can remember, do you remember the brewery when they used to bring all the farmers had come in and they'd bring home the spent hops?
Oh, yeah.
And they used to use it in the farms, back years ago. And there was a little kind of a bridge and a sluice thing there. And you came up then by the brewery experience, up the lane there.
Yeah, what they call the brewery or the Smithwick's experience.
Yeah.
Okay. So everything was used then.
Yeah, and there was a pottery there as well. A Peter Brennan potteries beside where my father and his father and 2 brothers, they all worked there together.
Nowadays, do you really feel the difference when it's all the big chains like the Tesco's and all that? It's a very different sort of landscape altogether.
All the big shops, like you had Smithwick's was a big shop up on High Street, and you had Potters. Oh God, we could go on and on and on. They're all gone, sure. Yeah. Then there was, in Irish Town, there was a man, Jimmy Phelan, he used to shoot the horses, do you remember?
That's right, yeah. There were forges in it. There was one down Irish Town and there was one
in Madeline Street.
That's right, yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And there was your man, what's her name? Una Hughes. Her father had a little small place there. That was going down towards the Mayfair, which is the new library now.
Yeah.
Linehan's pub was outside the barracks. There was
Paddy Kerwin's.
Poor Paddy Kerwin, yeah, exactly. And then there was
facing going up to Street Park.
Yeah, sure, Barney's. Barney's and Welch's. Cuckoo Welch's was next door.
Correct.
Cuckoo Welch's.
Yeah, they used
That's
to
a
call
name.
him. He had only one daughter, Angela, but there were two on a Sunday morning when you come from Mass in John's, and the two shops would be packed, people getting groceries and the newspapers. You wouldn't get in, there'd be a queue outside the two of them. There's the high paths outside them there. But those two places are closed now.
Right.
But they were an absolute hive. Remember, Barney's originally had a thatched roof on it. Years and years ago, I can remember. And then they built it up to a big, a big shop it was.
And there was a place going down, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was the gas house.
Yeah, where you go down to get the coal.
The lane there, going down beside it there.
When you say gas house,
The gas.
Gas
Yeah,
house.
they used to
Sell coal in the store and get.
The gas was all, whatever, we always called it the gas house. There was something to do with gas in it
Gas,
anyway.
yeah, this
But
time.
over across then you had Johnson's. Do you remember Sammy Johnson's, the funeral crowd? But over across there where Eddie Rockets is now, where all there used to be a coal yard up there, and Chadwick's was there.
Chadwick's, that's right.
Yeah.
That's
But
right.
that's all gone.
Yeah, they're all
completely
gone.
gone.
Yeah.
Mná Feasa is a podcast series featuring stories from older women in County Kilkenny. Produced by me, Helena Byrne, in collaboration with Kilkenny County Council Library Services and Kilkenny Heritage. This collaboration is kindly funded by commemorative initiatives under the Department of Tourism, Culture, Arts, Gaeltacht, Sport and Media. To find out more, visit helenabyrne.com.